Hi guys. I wanted to speak about human behavior and some forces that shape human behavior through the lens of bharatanatyam, which is the dance I practice. So you guys want to sit? So bharatanatyam has like several types of compositions, and the one such type of composition is called a padam. And padams were like traditional dance. Anyone has gone to like a traditional bharatanatyam performance before? No, nobody? Okay. So Bharatanatyam has several types of compositions, as I said, and the type I want to use for this talk is they're called padams. And padams are traditional dance songs that were created a few centuries ago in Tamil and Telugu. So I wanted to talk about a few distinct qualities of padams and then demonstrate a padam, then we'll take it from there, okay? So if you take like a book, like Harry Potter book 1, and you read it and you enjoy it, the book was written for that purpose, right? For somebody to pick it up and read it and enjoy it. Similarly, if you like listen to a song and you think it's very interesting, it's very beautiful, and you listen to it in a loop, and the song was also created for that moment, right? For you to enjoy it through orally. But if you take like a screenplay for a film, and you read it and you think it's very interesting plot, strong dialogue, whatever, you enjoy it, but you think a screenplay was written for that moment. What is the purpose of a screenplay?
Creating the base for the movie.
Exactly. So it is to be turned into a movie, right? So it is the movie that is the independent aesthetic object that is meant for enjoyment for the audience. Right? The screenplay is a generative object. Its purpose is to generate films depending upon which filmmaker is engaging with it, right? So a padam is exactly like that. These are songs. They have a poem and they're set to beautiful music, and they in fact have a rich musical tradition of their own. But despite all that, the job of a padam, its purpose is realized in dance. So every aesthetic choice made in a padam is made in the service of the dance, just like how all the artistic choices made in a screenplay are to make the movie good, right? Or interesting or funny or thrilling or whatever. It is not to make the screenplay good, right? So the other quality of a padam is that the entire padam is always sung by a single protagonist to somebody. So what the fallout of that would be that, like, imagine you had a fight, right, with a friend or with your mother or with your sibling, and then you they go and tell somebody else about it, and you listen to that. It's a very jarring experience, right? You're like, that's not what happened, right? So, and the more you listen to it, really, people don't talk about what happened. No, people talk about what happened to them, right? And you learn about them, what they noticed, what was important to them, what they skipped, right? So that is, you learn about their subjective view of reality, right? So same thing in a padam. The padam protagonist is revealed to the dance audience through their subjective behavior. It's not some objective truths that is being presented. Yeah. So these are formal qualities of a padam. That is to say, these qualities are found across padams, across the form. I will now talk about the content, which I have not mentioned at all till now, right? So, like films, padams deal with romantic situations, like most films. There is a romance somewhere. The fallout of it is what the padam is about. And the padam is not a story, it's a situation. Okay. So the human situations that are present are, so for example, in this, so there is a padam where the woman says to the man, she says, so yesterday at the evening time on the river bank, there was a girl who approached you and made signs to you. Who was that girl? So what's going to happen? A wifely investigation is going to unfold, right? So that's what that padam is about. So another example would be like, so what happened was, I'm a solo artist. So I'm playing the protagonist. I imagine the person I'm talking to over there and I speak to them, right? So another example is like this mother who's talking to a daughter on this side, and she says, this is a different padam. Here she says, that man, how did you see him fall in love with him? Really? And goes on. So here it's taken as Shiva because it's easy to elaborate. This is a funny padam, right? She's going to make fun of him. So the padam I want to demonstrate here, this is a totally different situation. So each padam is like a standalone composition. It's one situation that is taken and explored, right? So the one I'm going to do, here the woman says, so she's speaking to a man and she's telling him, why have you come here? That woman's house is not on the street. Go. This is what she says. So the implication from the lyric is that the woman and the man have had a romantic relationship. He has gone to another woman and he has come back. Okay, I will do it. This padam is called Indendu Vachithivira.
Indendu Vachithivira, Indendu Vachithivira, Indendu Vachithivira, Indendu Vachithivira, bharatanatyam Vesithe, adu opoda, Indendu Vachithivira,
Okay, so that's just the first part of the piece. And this woman has, so in a padam, the lyric gives you a situation. And within the situation, the characters have choices. And the artist usually makes these choices on behalf of the characters. But how do you make these choices, right? Like in this case, this woman, she can, she's obviously angry with him, she's obviously insulting him, but she either wants him or doesn't want him. She can either send him off or take him inside. Why stand at the doorstep and have this conversation, right? What does it accomplish? So if you look at her two choices, if she sends him off, the audience gets to see a man get insulted and send him off, which is interesting. It's not uninteresting, or I mean, if done well. But the other choice, suppose she actually wants to take him into the house, that gives her a problem, right? If that is what she wants in that universe, she can't just take him back. Her pride will suffer. No, she will also lose face if she did that. It would be much better for her if he grovels, right? Then she can take him back. Her purpose will be accomplished, right? she also can't, in this universe of this choice, she also can't insult him too freely, because he might take that insult and just leave. Right? That's also not an outcome that she actually might want, if we decide that, if the premise is that she actually wants him back. So which means that she has to calibrate her behavior. This is also happening at the doorstep, so the passers-by are also looking at it. To them, she's communicating, I'm not taking him back, right? And to him, she's saying, I am insulting you, but if you grovel sufficiently, who knows? So that is also like, there are two messages that she's trying to send to him, right? Whenever characters are put in such a situation where they have to communicate, where they have to calibrate and send and communicate in a way that is not very direct, the scene becomes interesting, usually. I'll do the next composition. In this one, the protagonist is a man. And here, the man, which is Krishna, he has been rejected by a girl. And he says, I snap my fingers. A lakh women will come and fall at my feet. Who did you think I was? Venugopala is my name. So these compositions sometimes refer to mythological figures, but they're not part of any mythology, right? These are standalone compositions. So I'll do this.
Sittika Vesithe Nivanti Cherulu Laksha Padivenge 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 Vidugulati Yavadanu Kullavu Venugopalu Na Pedu 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 Sittika Vesithe Nivanti
So here, Krishna, he's just gotten rejected by that girl, right? In a way, he feels is very unjust, in a way that's also very public. he's been humiliated, right? And this is his response to that, right? And what is he doing in all the drama, right? A lack woman will come and fall at my feet and so on. He's doing status repair, right? And also, everything he's doing is so that she will see it, right? It's so that it is behavior constructed for her to see how valuable he is, how many women want him, and so on, whether or not it is true. So these characters in both the pieces I did are performing to different audiences. Krishna is also performing to whoever is watching, right? And the dancer's job is to perform this performance to the dance audience, right? Now, to take a step back, I want to talk about performance outside padams. So, like suppose you go to a restaurant with your friend and you're eating, and your friend is rude to the waiter. What do, right? You have a few options. You can pretend not to notice. You can look at the TV, or you can drop the napkin, or you can just eat. But none of these are neutral, right? What are you communicating? To your friend, you're communicating, I'm on your side. To the waiter, you're communicating, I'm not on your side by doing these things, right? Now, suppose you want to protect the waiter, you might say, this spaghetti is really nice. Can you tell the chef? Now here, what have you done? You have aligned yourself with the waiter, right? With the chef and the waiter. And if your friend is a good reader of social situations, he might get very annoyed because of what you have done, right? You might have protected the waiter, but you have also antagonized your friend. There is another thing you can do, which people very commonly do. You might say, that speaker, it's really loud. Please, can you go fix it? Oh, what did you do here? First of all, you have complained about the place, right? You have brought down the status of this restaurant. And by association, the waiters, your friend is happy. That's what your friend was also doing, right? When he was insulting the waiter. So, but between the waiter and you have actually protected him and he knows it. And if he is a good reader, and waiters usually are, then between him and you, his status has gone up, right? But in your friend's eyes, his status has come down by the same action that you did, the same person's status, right? It is, of course, see, in real life, there are many more possibilities, but I just wanted to give 3 options, all of which are performances, but to different ends, right? You can, of course, extend this, whether you're teaching or saying sorry or throwing a tantrum or flirting, or whenever you're constructing a behavior for an audience, it's performance, right? In fact, when, if you think that someone is really authentic, chances are, I'm not saying it's always the case, but chances are they're a really skilled performer, right? And what does it mean to be a skilled performer? It's not just performing, which is delivery of the behavior in the last mile. No, it is also to construct the behavior, which is a creative act. I mean, humans are very creative in as long as they're not asked to be. Now, in the restaurant example, anything you say as literal speech, direct speech, might worsen the situation, right? You might embarrass your friend or the waiter, or you might antagonize one of them. But so performance lets you say things, communicate things that are unavailable to literal speech, to direct speech, right? It also lets you express things that might otherwise be inexpressible. So it's not an opposite of truth, right? It is a vehicle for truth. In fact, babies perform, right? It's a very natural, performance is a very natural state of human being, a natural way of communicating for human beings. I think because children perform very well. Babies construct behavior to influence the behavior of the adults, right? Long before they learn speech. Children also, when they learn to speak, they make these sounds like huh. Although they may not have made any point worthy of huh, they expect you to play along, right? Unfortunately, these days we say you're being performatively woke. You're being performative, right? The word has come to have a very negative connotation. It means expressing a belief that you don't have, right? But we already had a word for that. It was hypocritical, right? But we don't use that word because it's not hypocrisy that we mind, right? We are not naive about the distance between a person's beliefs and actions. We expect insincerity to an extent, depending upon the situation. What we mind is deception, right? Like it's like the situation. Like suppose I'm saying you're being performatively feminist. That means what it means is that I can see through you. I know you're not a feminist, but those people are believing you, and I really mind that. That's what it means, right? So we mind what is beneath the performance if it is deception, right? But we name the mechanism, we say performative, which names the mechanism as if other things are not performative. Why is that? I think it's because temporarily, in this moment in time, we have become very naive about the role of performance in our social lives. I think it's because the moral pendulum has swung too far in favor of authenticity and self-expression. Thank you very much.